Welcome back to Remotely Wasted, the worldwide leader in sports. Here, my name's Nick,
Or
here with
why?
Ethan.
Why? Why? Why?
We are here to discuss the semifinals. Um, here we have it. We have Indiana and Miami playing in the championship. And I was thinking about it. This is only like the fourth championship since like 2009 that doesn't feature Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, or Clemson. We've only had Auburn, Oregon in like 2010. We had Florida State, Auburn in 2013. Michigan, Washington like 2 years ago, and then this one. And like I'm pretty sure every single other one had one of those
Who
four
did
teams.
LSU play when they won?
Clemson. Yeah, they played Clemson in the championship.
Yeah.
Like one of
Yeah.
those teams has pretty much been in it every single time. So this is like the most I feel like this is like the kind of like the most like exciting championship we've
It
got
is.
in
It
terms
is.
of like Miami hasn't been there in a minute. Miami hasn't been to a championship
Oh
since
one.
2001. Yeah, I guess like 2002, but for the '01 season.
Yeah.
Um, in Indiana, I mean, I don't think they've maybe ever gone to a championship. They're like the one of the worst.
This is like the second worst team of all time.
So it's.
I don't know like if they ever even had like 10 wins before.
I
I
remember when they
think
won the Big Ten championship. Didn't they say it was like 1968 was the last time they had won it or something like that?
something crazy. I don't yeah.
So yeah, we're
Um
we're we're here.
I seen another like funny meme. It was like, with those four teams, like had this is like the first year and whatever. And I can't remember. They added a fourth team in there. It was like some random fucking school. I want to say it was like Nebraska or something. Like just taking a shot at them, like 'cause they've never made it, in recent times. But I want to say it
Yeah,
was Nebraska. Who the fuck was it? It was funny. It caught me off guard.
Nebraska ain't been there since like
Who was it?
1990 something.
Maybe it was like Northwestern or something. It was some it was some random team. He was like, "Wait, what?"
Like what are they doing there? So I mean, I kind of want to kind of jump into the matchup between Miami and Indiana because like I feel like that's a little bit more exciting because everybody watched the game. We're gonna jump into what we saw in the game, but what a matchup we got because we have Miami with a home game essentially. They're
Pretty
playing it on
much.
their home field. They've like I don't think this has ever happened in college football history because most teams don't play in NFL stadiums. Like Miami is one of the only ones that does. I think like Pitt, Miami, and like one other school play in like an NFL stadium. So we got um
Uh,
yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a few.
a couple.
Temple plays in the Eagles Stadium. Um I believe Pitt plays in the Steelers Stadium. Maybe they
Yeah,
don't
they. I
anymore.
think
But
they're
they
getting
did
a
they
stadium. I
did they
think.
did they did at one point.
Yeah.
So like most teams, they're playing in they're on their campus, and Miami has this NFL stadium. So they got a home game essentially, but you got Indiana who's red hot. They just steamrolled across Oregon.
They sold out that stadium against Oregon. Like it packed it. I didn't even see the Oregon fans. It was a small little like section that looked like it was where the band was.
They are
Uh,
traveling phenomenally.
so I think it'll at least be 50-50 in the crowd, as long as they can get tickets. Like the availability split for the two schools is there, but or they could even, I feel like they could take a majority. Like even when Miami's good, like they're still not selling the stadium out. Like
Yeah, even this whole season, I mean it's a huge stadium. It's
yeah, and
almost
it's also
impossible for a college. Well,
it's
not
also the
impossible,
national
but
championships. All the casual fans will, yeah, that have the money to
yeah, there'll,
go.
there'll be
But
people
yeah,
that
why
aren't fans of
not?
either team. Yeah.
Yeah, just going just to see a game. Rich people in Miami just because. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think
it's
I think there's a case for like it's like Indiana's been traveling really well. Um, I think there's a case that a lot of Miami people might be rooting for Indiana just because Mendoza's got the Cuban heritage, big Cuban population in Miami. It's a possibility, that
probably
maybe
a small minority. But it's probably there a little bit. Gonna be a great matchup. Indiana is probably like one of the more dominant teams in college football history on paper.
if they win this, I mean,
If
I
they
think
win
they're
this,
better. I think they're
they'll
better than LSU. Like honestly,
if they win this, they'll be a top five college team all time. Mendoza will go down as one of the best college quarterbacks and or players of all time. Maybe not top five, but maybe top 10. His stats, like if you compare his stats to like the Burrow season, it's not really close, but like um and
It's not
then
close, but you also got to think like Burrow was thrown to like Jamar Chase and
yeah,
the Vikings guy, what's his name? One of the best
Justin
receivers,
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Like one of Randy Moss's son was like playing tight end. They had
Yeah,
Clyde
Edwards-Helaire.
Edwards-Helaire was on the team. Like he had an
They
NFL roster surrounding him. These
they
are a
had a
bunch of
stack.
three stars, like two
Yeah,
and three
true.
stars.
Which you know kind of swings the pendulum to Mendoza at least a little bit in that aspect. Like and there's just a bunch of random dudes that came together and they got good coaching. It's just a super well-rounded team, super well-coached team. Like all sides of the ball are pretty good from what we've seen. I mean, I don't think you can question this Indiana team anymore. Like, you've seen them beat Oregon twice. Um, they've beat Ohio State. So it's like
Steamrolled Alabama.
steamrolled
Um,
Alabama. So it's like,
Steamrolled Oregon the second time.
they've played big teams. And then same with Miami. Miami's been pretty good. They've got some big wins. They look pretty well balanced. They got a good run game. Um, Amazing receiver. It'll really just I think it's gonna come down to Carson Beck's play. Can he, take care of the ball? And then the trenches is Indiana gonna be able to stack up well because Miami is really big. They got a big offensive line, big defense, great pass rush. So like, can they get to Mendoza? If they can, they can get him unsettled. I think Miami can win the game. But if Mendoza has time, they can run the ball a little bit. The offense will chip away eventually, and then Indiana just got to get a couple stops really, and I think they can win. But
Yeah, I mean, you make a really good point about kind of like the physicality Miami has on the lines of scrimmage. I think on both sides of the ball, you're seeing Fletcher get really involved in the running game.
yeah,
They're really working the screens, hitting Malachi Tony, and
oh my God,
who's the other big receiver on their team? Um,
I don't remember.
that guy's getting open a lot. They're just really hitting people with the screens. They're moving fast. Um,
Great play calling, like to open up Tony in space and getting the ball to their best player, like crazy play calls and stuff that like just works out. Great blocking. They scheme him up really well, and then it opens up the run game. Because they're trying to account for Tony, and then the safeties are coming down to help with the run. Opens up big passes. So Indiana's definitely got their work cut out for them on the defense side. Hopefully they can stay
yeah,
stay
I mean,
sound
and
and
Miami's defense is no slouch themselves.
no, they're not. The defensive that front seven. This is the front seven. The secondary is not like bad, but like the front sevens where all the hitters are. So
Indiana's,
if
I think like they're gonna have a little bit of an advantage when they're going against Miami's defenses. One, Mendoza has been extremely accurate with the ball, like more
like
accurate than I've seen a quarterback maybe ever.
insane,
Like he's putting the ball exactly where it needs to go every time, and he's got an extremely cool head. He was
yeah.
talking. I was listening to one of his interviews before the game, where they're like, what do you listen to for like hype up music? And he was like, I don't listen to hype up music. I gotta stay calm. I'm a quarterback. I listen to like stuff to calm me down. I don't try to get hyped up. And you could really see it on the field. Like he's really calm
He's it.
and he's just making the right plays almost every single time. So it's gonna be hard for Miami's defense to get in his head. I'm assuming they're gonna bring the rush on him, try to knock him off his rocker a little bit, get him rattled.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. That might not be enough. If
Oregon they had a bunch of injuries in that game. Or not Oregon, sorry, Miami, against Ole Miss, especially in that like fourth quarter. They had a lot of people going down. So
Yeah, they did.
are they going to be healthy for the game? I'm not entirely sure what all their injuries were. Um, but ideally you want to see a healthy team competing. Um, unless you just hate Miami, which is me. I hope they get blown out by halftime personally, but uh,
Yeah,
that's just me.
we don't
We
really
don't
like Miami
we don't fuck with Miami over here.
on this show. I mean, I will say I am glad to see. Miami, Indiana over, some of the matchups we
Ole
could have
Miss, Oregon,
gotten.
or
I mean, Ole
Miami,
Miss,
Oregon.
Oregon wouldn't have been terrible, but like if we got like Alabama, Georgia again, or
Yeah.
something like that would have
Well,
been
Ole Miss,
terrible.
Indiana, or Ole Miss, Oregon would have been cool because at that point you're seeing a team that's Ole Miss claims they have like three championships, but like in reality they've never won one in the modern era. So it's like they
Yeah,
almost like don't count to like the modern fans. Oregon's they don't have any, Indiana don't have any, so it'd be teams that don't have any championships playing, which would have been cool. But Miami, it's been what 20, 24, 25 years, so it'd be
yeah,
big for them, unfortunately. But
yeah. I mean, they got a good shot at it. Honestly, I'm not. I don't think that like a lot of people are just like it's automatically going to be Indiana. I don't think so. I think it's
I
going to
hope
be
so.
tough game because Miami's defense has looked really good. Granted,
Yeah,
like Indiana looked good on about every aspect they could against Oregon, but if Miami just like shuts down the run completely, they're able to get pressure on Mendoza.
like,
Indiana might be in a little bit of trouble if their defense can't get stops. And Carson
yeah.
Beck has played at a level better than he has most of the season throughout this
Well,
playoff
and
run.
Miami's pretty good at sustaining drives and keeping the chains moving. So Indiana's got to be able to do that to like wear the defense down over the game because that's what Miami's going to do. They're going to want to run the ball and just pick up first downs, and they're not really trying to score super fast. I mean, they'll take it, but like they just want to break the defense down. So Indiana's definitely got to be able to do that, tire out the pass rush. So come third, fourth quarter, they're not going to be as super effective and fresh.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got to be able to run the ball.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. They need to try their best to at least stay even on time of possession to really have a shot at it. And I think one thing that does stand out to me though is that like Dante Moore is a great quarterback and they were really able to throw him off more than he had the entire season. And
Yeah.
Carson Beck has a history of, really falling apart in situations like that. And I think Dante Moore is like, not to be disrespectful to Carson Beck, but I just think he's like twice the quarterback that Carson Beck is. He's got more in his toolkit. He's more mobile. He's more calm under pressure. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions throughout the year, and he was looking pedestrian against
Yeah,
Indiana's defense.
they tore his ass up.
So I mean,
It,
like
it
I don't
does
know if
it does
Carson Beck does
help.
much better.
It does help that they've played them before. Um, at least a little bit in my mind. You kind of know what you're gonna get. You know in real time like what the guy's capable of and like what he can do because you've seen it. Um, so but and then like the game plan it's just easier to enact because like you already had it. It already worked the first time, so you just got to take it and tune it a little bit the second time. But now you're playing a team that you've never played before. So it's all what they got a week to
Yeah, yeah, they
prepare.
got a week. The 19th is when
So
it takes place.
I don't know, we'll see what Signetti can do. If he wins this game, he's probably already a top 10 coach all time, maybe just outside the top five. Just in the sheer like dominance that he's came onto the scene in Indiana, year two, potentially winning a championship, taking the second worst team of all time. I think this is like the equivalent of like taking Army to a national championship in a way. So it's like
It's pretty.
nobody does this, and then they got not a single five-star recruit on the team. It's like there's so many things that like add up to it. It's not just like looking at it at face value, like oh he won one national championship. Like Saban's got like six. All these other coaches they got multiple, but like this one like almost values like three. Like it kind of it's worth a lot. It's like a
Yeah.
it's gonna be if they win, it's gonna be one of the greatest like sports stories or sports seasons of all time.
I
And
can't even think of anything close to it.
it's like if you took like it's like if you went and took the Browns to like an undefeated season and like a brand new coach almost like year two and they go undefeated or like the
Yeah,
Lions
with
like
like a bunch of like fifth round picks or
yeah,
something.
and you
Like,
have no first round draft picks on the team. You got no Jared Goffs, no Jahmyr Gibbs, no Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got a bunch of just random like third string players. You got a freshman quarterback or something, and you go on and make a run. No Myles Garrett if you're the Browns, like just a bunch of random dudes, and you go undefeated and win the whole thing. Like that'd be like the equivalent.
The
Um,
closest thing that it reminds me of is Rocky beating Apollo Creed in Rocky 2, and then like winning like 10 straight title fights and like the third one like he did. Like it's like that's the closest thing. Like just some bum on the street basically becomes like the
it's kind of how
heavyweight champ.
that's
That's
how
what
it
it feels
feels, man.
like.
It's like it's worth so much more than just a single championship. Um, so I hope it happens. It'd be super cool. It'd be good for college football. It might kind of rewrite the playbook on team building and recruiting and the transfer portal like going forward. You don't need all these 5 stars. Like if you look at your team, you're like, damn, like we ain't really hitting on the portal. Like we ain't got a bunch of good dudes coming out of high school. Like we got 2 5 stars, bunch of 4 and 3 stars. Like there's still hope. Like it's still doable. And it's proof that any team can actually win the national championship, contrary to like the belief coming into like last year before he got there. It's like, oh, there's really only like 6 to 8 teams that could probably ever win the title. Like that's normally how it was led to believe. A couple of those teams might flip flop back and forth with like some other teams. You got like Alabama, Ohio State, um, Clemson for a while, LSU. Michigan, Penn State's always been on like the outside, like the Oklahomas, the Texases, like the big blue blood schools. It was only ever going to be like one of those teams, and you'd have a random anomaly year with like an Auburn or a team kind of bounce back like Florida State.
Yeah, pretty
But like this
much.
is this is like proof that like any team can win it as long as you're in a Power Four conference, I guess. So it's like the Northwesterns or the Mississippi States, like the teams like that. Like you can do it.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what he's done here is I think what he's done is he's recruited players based on like their attitude and their character more so than their talent and what the star next to their name. So obviously he picks talented players, but players that can and want to be developed into better players and are willing to put
Yep.
the work in. And
And
Indiana's
and
just getting
buying in.
started. A lot of people didn't know that Mark Cuban went to Indiana. He hadn't been donating to the program because he felt like the school didn't care about the program. And
Yeah, there was no point. Like
now
why
they got
would
Signetti and he's down to start donating. So they're about to actually start getting some NIL money.
yeah. I don't know why you would donate to a program that does nothing. It's a waste of money. Like you're lighting money on fire. uh, because they weren't doing anything. So it's like, you can give them all the money they want, but like, who the hell wants to go to Indiana? Like, they got nothing. Like, you might get a couple players that like want to go make a bag, and like, yeah, okay, cool, but like, you're not gonna get a whole roster to buy in just because you got Mark Cuban donating to the program. Um, Unless you're Texas Tech, but I think they did it really well with the way that they're going.
Yeah, I
They
have
got a
some
good.
questions. Like that's one of my big questions going into next year is about Texas Tech, in terms of because I mean I think we've seen this jump. Like there's like two ends of the spectrum. There's like what Signetti's doing here without all the NIL, without all the 5 stars, and then you got what Texas Tech is doing, which is like the opposite,
They're
which is
buying it.
buying like the best talent. And I guess my question for Texas Tech is like, is Joey McGuire the guy that can actually
Taking.
build a culture out of that and turn
I
it
don't
into
know.
championships? Because he's obviously, he did a good job in terms of, he had the talent, he took them to the playoffs, but they kind of fell apart against Oregon.
They had a
um
really good team. I think like looking back at that game, like the Baron Morton could not do shit. The play calling on offense was super pedestrian. I don't know if Joe McGuire is the one that calls the plays. If so, you gotta hand that shit up because you ain't it. And in the high pressure games, which that was, where you kind of back against the wall. I just felt like they kept calling like the same stuff. Nothing was working. Quarterback never got in rhythm, so maybe getting a better quarterback this next year, which I think they did. Um, well, yeah, Sworsby, right, from Cincinnati.
yeah, they got
I think they
Swarsby
I
out
think
of
they given him
Cincy.
like 5 million. Um, I don't know if he's a better quarterback than Baron Morton because Baron Morton all year I was pretty high on. Maybe.
It's hard to
Uh,
tell.
it is hard to tell. So we'll see next year. It just did they replace some of their key pieces they might have lost to the draft. Um, yeah, I think you give it another year or two on that program, see if it works out. If he can't get it done by year three with everything that they've had, everything that they get, all the money that they spend, I think he might look to move on and maybe try to find somebody that can
Yeah.
take
I
what you're
think I think
getting.
he's on a short leash because
Gotta be.
when people are writing, $20 million checks, 10, 15, whatever,
They
however
want to
many
see something.
dollars. Like if I wrote a $10 million check and y'all lost the first game y'all played, I'd be pretty mad. I'd be like, wow, I just spent 10 million
Yeah.
million dollars for this.
I mean, the Big 12 championship's a pretty big accomplishment. Like, what is that, their first
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, it's like I think that's the first ever conference
So,
championship.
like,
So
as
they,
a
they took a
fan,
they took a step. Yeah.
I'd have been happy with the season. Obviously, they did. Everybody wants to win the whole thing. They made the playoffs, which was cool. Good for them. But yeah, winning the conference championships, nothing to like really scoff at. Like it's certainly becoming less relevant, and I think eventually it might just be irrelevant. It might not even be a thing in the future. But right now, like it's still a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And so good for them. As a fan, I'd be happy with that for
Yeah, I mean they,
now.
they they took a step forward. I mean, I think the fans are happy. And I think it's fine for now.
Yeah,
I
a
just
year
think
three
like
is
the
it.
donors are going to be the ones, the driving forces behind,
Yes,
because I mean they run the program basically. If you're donating that much, you tell the athletic director to fire a guy, they're going to fire him. Like,
pretty
hey, we'll
much.
write you another check for his replacement. I mean, we just kind of seen that happen with LSU. Their donors were like, hey, fire Brian Kelly, we'll pay the buyout and let's get somebody else. And it happens. I mean, Joey McGuire so far looks good. I'm just curious, like, is this method of buying a championship, is this going to work out for anybody? Because it's
I think
only
it'll
worked
work.
out for Ohio State, and they had already been like an established
Yeah,
program, so you can't give all the credit to the
the
money.
money. It just helped further the roster, and fill in some, key pieces with better players. I think it'll work eventually. I don't know if it'd be Texas Tech, but like, uh,
Oregon's been, swinging for the fences for a while trying to do it.
I think Dan Lanning's just the problem there. I don't think he has what it takes to like, take it all the way. I think he can get you there. He can make the playoffs, compete for the Big Ten. But when the going gets tough, he makes crazy decisions. He's like the Lions coach, going for it on fourth down all the time,
Yeah, he's like
running
Dan
out like
Campbell.
a fake punt in like a weird situation. Like a lot of the times it works out for him, but the times when it doesn't, it really blows up the game. But I don't know. I can't see Dan Lanning getting it done. Like look at the quarterbacks that Oregon's had for like the last four. They got
Dante Moore,
Dante
Dylan
Moore. He's gonna be
Gabriel.
a first round pick. Dylan Gabriel, excellent college quarterback. He had a
He
great
went third
season.
round, yeah.
Third round pick. Before that, what they had, Bo Nix, first
First
round
round
pick.
pick,
Justin Herbert, first round
third
pick.
pick,
They had somebody before Justin Herbert that was pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. Who the hell was it?
Mariota.
Yeah.
But that wasn't him. I don't think Herbert was him
Well, still,
either.
they had Mariota too. Won the Heisman. Like, first round pick, second overall pick. Like, they still cannot get it done. I don't think what Dan Lenny wasn't there when Mariota was there, but still, like,
Yeah, Dan Lanning, I think, popped in. Maybe Bo Nix was his first year. It was like the year before Bo Nix. One of those years. But you're looking at Dylan Raiola coming in. He signed to
did you go to Oregon?
Oregon.
Wow.
Yeah, but Dante Moore is talking about going back. Not a terribly bad decision, I think, for him to
I,
go
I
back.
think Yeah, I think looking at the top teams picking in the draft, like you're going to the Jets or you're going to the Raiders. Depends on who the Raiders take at quarterback. Do they want you or do they want Mendoza? Obviously, I think they're going Mendoza, but um, and a short tangent on that. If I'm the Raiders, I'm calling up Signetti after this game, and I'm like, hey, uh, you want to come coach for us? We'll draft Mendoza first pick. Who else do you want? Well, you do whatever you want. I'm 100% on the phone. Uh,
I think he could do
I
it. I
think he
think he
could do
could.
it. But then what was I talking about before that?
Kind
Uh,
of Dante Moore and the
yeah. So
Mendoza kind of
so I'm
decision.
look I'm looking at those teams. More than likely, you're gonna end up on the Jets. I'm not fucking going to the Jets. I'm just coming back a year. You're gonna make more that next year than you're gonna make um, playing for the fucking Jets, and you're not gonna die. You're not gonna get thrown to the wolves and have no development. And um, the Jets are one of the worst sports organizations in the world. They have a solid roster too. They have bad ownership, bad
They
front office.
haven't made the playoffs in 15 years, I think is
They're
what
they're
what
they're
it is right
dog
now.
ass. So if I'm him, I'm not going. I'm coming back.
Yeah,
More
and
than likely they'll be there
honestly,
next year, but still, you never know. There could be another team up in the first pick that might take you ahead of the Jets.
he's a great quarterback, but I think he could use another year of college. He
I
looked
think so too.
like he looked pretty rattled in that playoff game, and he's been really smart in terms of his decision making. And like he could have stayed at UCLA where he was starting, but he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back up Dylan Gabriel for a year.
Smart.
And he
Yeah,
was he was cool with doing it, and this would be like another smart decision on his part. I saw some idiot in like a comment section where they were talking about Mendoza and Dante Moore, and he was like, Dante Moore fits the Raiders offense better. Like they don't even have an offensive coordinator, bro.
they
They don't
don't
even have a
have an
coach.
offense. They have nothing. That
They
team
don't even
has
have they don't have a coach. You don't even know what their offense is going to be like. What are you talking about?
that team has nothing. That is the
So,
worst roster.
some of y'all just get on the internet and say shit that you don't even know what you're talking about. They
That might
don't
be
like
the
they
worst
just fired Pete
roster in professional
Carroll.
sports. Like that roster is abysmal. They have like three good players.
They got Genty, Bowers, and that's it.
And probably some like they got Max Crosby.
Yeah, maybe they got a good O lineman or something on the
Yeah, maybe
offense.
they got a fourth, but that's it. They got three dudes, and then whoever the hell they draft this year. So you got four dudes against the world with no good staff, no nothing. Uh, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. They're gonna ruin Mendoza, and I'm fucking sick about it.
It's a random like this is like a kind of another random tangent. I think it was kind of stupid to fire Pete Carroll after 1 year. I get the year
Yeah,
was
but what
bad.
the hell is he supposed to do with that team? That team sucks.
Like you can't just like I hate the NFL. Like the owners are dumb. Like they fire coaches after one single bad year with like the worst roster they
They,
could
they
possibly
traded their
get.
best receiver. Like what the what's Geno Smith supposed to do? Like look at him the previous year in Seattle. Great year. Solid year. What's the fucking common denominator in these two teams?
I don't understand like
That was a crazy fall off.
the logic and like the coaching in the NFL makes no sense. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but like John Harbaugh for an example, he won
Yeah,
a
that was
Super Bowl,
dumb.
made the playoffs almost every single year, misses the playoffs 1 year, gets fired.
I think they would have been better off getting rid of Lamar Jackson. I don't think Lamar Jackson's gonna get it done. Hot tip, maybe
I thought Lamar Jackson was like the reason they were even in that game, quite honestly though.
maybe, but Lamar Jackson can never get it done.
But I
Hot
mean, I
take.
don't know. I don't know. Like the kicker missed the field goal this year. Last year, Mark Andrews
Should have kept
drops the
Justin
ball
Tucker.
in the end zone. Wait.
I don't think he's ever been like actually convicted of anything. Like I don't think he might have done it, but like legally, I don't think he did it. Like
It's like a Deshaun Watson thing where it's like he
he's
probably
still
did.
on a fucking team though, and what he did was way worse.
No, I think it's like a quit, like almost the exact same. Like I'm pretty sure it's
May-
like the exact same thing.
Maybe, but Deshaun
But
Watson
just
still.
Justin Tucker's just like way less.
Oh, and you'd also be in the playoffs, so and you'd have your coach. But
Well,
I
I think he was missing a lot of field goals his last like couple of years too.
maybe, but I think the Ravens should have called up the fucking Raiders. But yo, we'll give you Lamar Jackson. Let us get that first pick and something.
I think
Uh,
Lamar Jackson like could win a
maybe
Super Bowl. I just don't think.
maybe give us the first pick, and we want Max Crosby, and then they draft Mendoza. Money.
I think like some of these teams just got to be patient. So like if you look at like sometimes you're just gonna have gaps. Like if you got a good coach like Belichick, for example, he won 2001, 2003, or 2001, 2004, 2005. Goes on like a 10-year gap from winning a Super Bowl and then wins the Super Bowl.
But yeah, but that's also three Super Bowls to hold you over. Like the Ravens won one. Like
But
I
it's
get, yeah, it's still it's
but it's
something.
consistent playoffs like every single season to the AFC Championship. Same thing with the
Like
Steelers. Like I think like I don't
uh,
know if that was his choice, but I think
they probably told
he
him
won a
like
Super Bowl, multiple AFC championships in the playoffs every year.
that
You're
team's
not
been
going to get better than
stagnant
that.
though. They haven't done shit. like stagnant. They can't get a quarterback. They can't figure out that offense was like probably historically bad in that last game. I was watching it and I was like, oh, like what the fuck are they doing? Like they couldn't do anything. They couldn't get a first down. Like the whole game, I turned it off at halftime and I like expected to come back and see them scored some points and it was still 3 points and I'm like, or six. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, yeah, it's probably partially on Aaron Rodgers, but like, Jesus Christ.
I just feel like in situations like that, when you got a really good coach, it's like if you get one or two roster tweaks, one or
Yeah.
two coordinator hires, you're right back at it. I'm like, what
Yeah,
are you
absolutely.
like? Okay, like for example, the Ravens, they fire John
Mhm.
Harbaugh, and they interview Stefanski or whatever his
Oh,
name is.
Jesus Christ. I,
Like,
I don't get me fucking
why
started on
would you go from
Stefanski.
Why would you go from Harbaugh to Stefanski? That's the stupidest thing I've ever
I
heard
hope they
of.
hire his ass because the Giants were fucking interviewing him too, and I swear to God, nobody watches this man coach football because like the Brown, he's won like 4 games. Like I'm convinced they don't watch the games. They don't watch the teams play. They don't. They're like, oh, the Stefanski guy. I think he sounds like he's pretty good. They get him in there, they interview him, and like he's in there talking his shit, and like, hey, this guy's great. They never
I get
watched him play.
he won a playoff game for the Browns, but like
Who gives a fuck?
Baker won that game, man. Like, give me
Who
a
gives a
break.
fuck? And then they got rid of him. Like, what the? That guy doesn't know dick.
I heard Harbaugh's deciding between the Giants and the Falcons. So like ideally if y'all got Harbaugh, that'd be
God, I hope so. I
a
hope so.
score.
Well, we're back. Next year, we're making the playoffs.
Yeah,
Year one.
Stefanski is like I don't understand
I
why he's getting all this like all these
That dude's
interviews.
fucking ass. But watch he gets hired, and like, but say the Ravens hire him, it makes the playoffs. Like, he's gonna tear. Well, he just starts tearing it up. You're like, well, maybe it was the Browns, just like organization, like maybe it was just handicapping him or something. I don't know. If that happens, good for him. Maybe he is a really good coach. Maybe. I think he might be. I think he's a solid offensive coordinator from what I've heard, but um, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
was I think he was with the Eagles, their first championship.
Fucking Eagles should be calling his ass back for offense coordinator spot.
No. It was the Vikings like when they had like I think like Kirk Cousins and shit.
Oh.
And then he got hired from there. So yeah, I don't know. The coaching hires are weird right now.
It's bad. It's real
I don't know. I
bad.
just like he just was like sabotaging Shador the whole season, and I've
Yeah.
never seen that
And Shador
before.
looked pretty decent. Like he looks nice. I hope they just let him start next year. Just see what you got. Like just let it rock. What the fuck else do you have to lose? Y'all ain't winning shit
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't shown that he's like the
But
franchise quarterback, but I think he's earned another year of like
yeah, but
starting,
he's
like
also
just
not
to see.
shown he's a complete disaster.
I
He
think
does.
he could be the franchise quarterback.
He could be, or he could also be a disaster too. But he's not shown, anything to give you a reason not to give it a shot. And if he ain't working out, you got Dylan Gabriel. Put him in. Fuck it. What do you have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah, I
Just
don't think
wasting Miles
they
Garrett's
should go
career.
after a quarterback. And he's yeah, Miles Garrett, I mean, broke the sack record. Granted, was an extra game, but it's still he broke the record regardless. So
Good for him.
something to be celebrated.
I didn't think that
Um,
record was ever gonna be broke.
broke Michael Strahan's
Fucking, it's bullshit.
record that I think it was the career sacks that like Brett Favre let him sack him. I don't think it was the season, but there was like that guy that had like CTE that was like you hurt me like because like he let Michael Strahan break the record, and then like the guy
uh,
whose record got broken like went up to Brett Favre and he was like, "You really hurt me, man." Like I'm like,
yeah.
there's so much CTE going on in this
I,
conversation right now
that
because
shit was
Brett
so
Favre's
funny.
pretty ate up himself.
Brett Favre's a rat.
Oh
He's a
yeah, have you seen the
scumbag.
documentary of him on Netflix? He's a terrible
He's a
person.
scumbag.
I
He's
didn't realize the staffer that he had like sent the pics to when he was on the Jets was originally from Florida State.
oh
She was like something at like she just showed up, I don't like wearing a bikini or something at the Florida State game. And for some reason the camera just kept like panning to her like over and over and over again. And like Brent Musburger kept like saying stuff. And then she got like famous off of that. And the Jets hired her to like basically like kind of be like that for them. And Brett Favre was like, "Hey, give her my number." Like,
he said, "Shooters got to shoot." Jesus
She
Christ.
was like, she had like never even responded to him, and he was still like sending pictures of his meat and stuff. Like, you know,
He's a menace, man.
uh,
Menace to society. Jesus Christ. Let's see. I think we talked about that. Let's see what's going on in the old portal. Um,
Cam Coleman to Texas, hate that.
oh, you went to Texas?
Hollywood Smothers flipped from Alabama to Texas, so
Ah,
that's kind of
Jesus Christ.
annoying. Sorsby going to Texas Tech, great pickup. Um,
Well, mercenary hire, one and done. Yeah, I'm to Texas. That's huge for them. Taking that, they finally got a big receiver. Um, yeah, filling the Matthew Golden spot, kind of. Got 2 years left, so Arch Manning should have a fucking field day next year. Should.
should be on
I think
paper.
he should be the front runner for the Heisman. He
I
looked
think he probably will be going into it.
he got a lot better as the season went on.
I can't think of anybody else who would be like the
This
favorite.
just happened like recently,
Yeah, it was
the
funny
last couple
because
days.
the guy from Washington was gonna go to LSU. So Sam Levitt took a visit to Miami.
He went to Tennessee too.
Yeah, he took a couple visits and then like Washington made that dude come back because he had just signed a contract and they're like,
Good
no,
on them. Good
you
on
gotta honor this
them.
contract. So Sam
That's how
Levitt's like,
awkward that's
all
gonna be.
right.
All everybody on the team knows you just try to leave, and then like now you have to stay, and like it's kind of like he like just begrudgingly is there, and like I don't know, it just feels it feels weird. I would that the like the vibe in that locker room is probably crazy.
It's gonna be weird. Sam Levitt. I'm not like super like he
Like
looked great that first year, but I'm not sold on Sam Levitt yet.
he just hit the portal, I think, yesterday, or the day
Today, like today
before.
or yesterday, yeah.
This guy is gonna have whoever gets him, just write him a blank check. He's probably gonna be pretty good. I don't know where the hell he's gonna go, but
I think
where's
anybody's gonna.
where's he from?
I think almost anybody's gonna be willing to throw some money at him.
Probably goes to Ohio State, Miami,
I was thinking LSU, but yeah,
yeah,
he's
LSU,
probably going to somewhere like that because LSU just lost like their top offensive tackle. So,
Indiana.
hey, that's a possibility as
Cincinnati's like
well.
he's a 5-star. We don't want him.
This guy going to
I
South
refuse.
Carolina. South Carolina has been making some decent pickups throughout the portal.
Yeah,
Just like some
they
low
should
key,
take a step forward next year. Good
especially
pick.
with
They need that. They need
Sellers
that
coming
bad.
back
Really need that. Big defensive tackle for Texas Tech. Good for them. Psh,
from
Oklahoma.
Missouri.
Go to Oklahoma.
Maybe.
I would say we could offer him, but I'm sure we can't afford him.
Maybe Maker going to Oklahoma State, getting a huge deal to go there. Um,
Oh, that's a huge pickup. I didn't know he went to Oregon. Damn, I like this guy. It's like he's like a Cooper DeJean
mm,
type vibe
Safety
position
out of
for him.
Minnesota. That's a great defensive school. They're gonna need that. Going to yeah, Utah. Utah guys going over to Michigan. We've seen a couple of these so far.
I think Michigan
Um,
will be pretty decent next year.
they're coming in hot.
It's big for Tennessee. Arizona. Why
Arizona
the fuck are you
State.
going to Arizona State? Who they hire as their coach?
Ken Dillingham. They've been
Oh
good.
wait, I don't know. I was thinking Iowa State. I get them confused every single time.
Yeah, nah. Arizona
Okay.
State's in a good spot
Who they
overall.
get? What they got the Kentucky quarterback?
Yeah,
Did they do that?
I think that's how that went down if
I
I
don't
remember
know.
correctly.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, I forgot. Never mind. They got
He's a great
a
receiver.
massive pickup for Indiana. Massive. Rich get richer. Texas Tech get
Texas
another
Tech getting
edge.
more.
Defensive line gonna be nasty again. That defense was insane this year. Like they was cooking Oregon shit for a little while. Like
They were keeping them in the game, honestly.
yeah,
If anything, they were really keeping them in. Going to Auburn. Auburn really
makes
they
sense.
hedged all their chips on Byron Brown because you got
They pushed out both their quarterbacks.
Deuce Knight left and the guy
Ashton
that you guys got,
Daniels.
Ashton Daniels left.
Where'd
Deuce
Deuce
Knight
Knight
just
go?
signed to Ole Miss since Chambliss didn't get renewed, so he's going in there to, try to compete for that job.
Who else they have?
Hoover
Over to
the
Indiana.
Hoosier.
That's a great pickup.
Somebody was like, I can't wait to hear Gus Johnson's "Calm Hoover the Hoosier." Well, yeah, that's good. Yeah, he's definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, he fits. Indiana's gonna be. I don't know. I don't say just as good, but I mean it's hard to replace like, Mendoza. Like you
Yeah.
replacing a Heisman winning quarterback is like never easy, and normally doesn't always work
Yeah.
out. Like there's always a fall off. But if he even just has a solid season and then the rest of the team's as good as it is now, I think they'll still make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, like talent wise, he's very good. I just, replacing that leadership and like
It's
that
tough.
that
That
type of thing is gonna be very tough.
mentality.
Rocco going to
Oh,
Penn State, pretty
Rocco.
predictable.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, because that Iowa State was I don't know. They could just never take that final like step to just like get over the hump of where they always peak at. So good for him. I like him. He's a tough player. I don't want to talk about it.
Have they picked anywhere?
Actually, I don't think so. People are saying like they're technically not in the portal yet, which is weird. Like they haven't like actually like declared for the portal. Um, so like people are optimistic that they're both coming back. God, do we fucking?
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
think we
kind of what
haven't.
I was thinking because it sounded
I
like there was like a negotiation gone wrong or something, and then basically y'all y'all
well,
didn't give them enough or
I think
something like that.
they agreed to a deal. Like we had a deal, and then they I guess probably had somebody whispering in their ear, hey, you can get more. Hey, go here, whatever. So there was like, oh fuck it, we're gonna leverage. We're gonna try to get more money. Obviously, we only one of them's really performing super well, so we're probably not offering both of them the same amount. So maybe that was kind of what it was, or they weren't totally getting what they wanted, but. Yeah, we're being held hostage. And we have no, I don't think we have a single player on our defensive line. We have zero defensive line. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. So we desperately need them back.
Yeah, I
Desperately.
would love for them to come to Oklahoma. I don't think we
A
can
lot of people think they're
afford
going to
that, and
Miami.
we've got a decent little defensive line, so we
Well, you
probably
gotta
don't
get
need
both of
them.
them
But
because they're gonna want to play. They're gonna want to play together. So you have to get both.
yeah, so I don't know how that's all gonna work out. I think they're gonna
I
go back to Florida State. That's
I
like just the
fucking
vibe.
I
I
hope
haven't
so.
heard any smoke about them really going anywhere.
The
Um,
only thing I've heard is Miami, but that could just be fans, just talking. So like I said, I don't think they're technically in the portal yet completely. But I'm not entirely sure. So we'll see. Portal closes in 3 days, so I'm hoping we just got to get there. That's a great pickup for Texas. That offense is kind of loaded now.
man, when he was about to sign to Bama, I was like, okay, cool. I could live with him going to Bama, and then he signs to Texas, and like I hate this is my problem with DeMarco is like we have this guy on our running back team, like, and he's just not developing guys right. So then they go on
Do
to
you
be
guys?
great players somewhere else.
Is he still there, DeMarco?
Oh yeah, he was because I mean Smothers was on the team like 2 years ago, like the Jackson Arnold year. I'm pretty sure he was on the team.
That's
Um,
because he's a monster.
and here he is,
He's probably
killing
he's
it.
he's gonna have a great year. I don't want to say it's gonna be like Bijan type, but like
He's
oh.
gonna run all over us too. 'Cause it's gonna be personal.
If he can even get close to that like Bijan production, like wait, they got Manning, Smothers, read option capabilities, and Coleman, best receiver maybe in the college football next year,
Yeah, they
maybe.
lost a lot of depth at receiver and a lot of depth at running back. They
But
had like a little bit of everything. Now they don't. Justin Haynes, I would love for us to pick him up.
he's
Um,
pretty good. I'm actually surprised he entered the portal. Who? I wonder who they have at running back,
um,
like to like make him leave.
I mean, they pulled Taylor Tatum from us, who was like the number one running back that we weren't utilizing. I suspect another Hollywood Smothers situation. Um, going on at Michigan where he Taylor Tatum just
Tear
is
some
one
shit
of, one
up.
of the best running backs next year. I'm assuming maybe like he just didn't like the coaching change, maybe wasn't feeling
They had to
the
make the change.
staff.
Like, what?
Well, I mean, like maybe he
Oh
just wasn't
shit! I'll be
vibing
right
with
back.
the change. All right. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking with Justice Haynes. Maybe he just wasn't vibing with the change, Utah's coach coming in. So yeah, I'm curious to see where he ends up. He was having a phenomenal year last year. Would love to have him at Oklahoma. Could possibly, go somewhere like Ohio State. Um, there's a lot of teams that are looking for running backs as well. Miami could probably afford him, could probably take him. Wouldn't be surprised to see him, somewhere like Miami, possibly Georgia, is quietly making some moves. I don't know how much longer Frazier and the other guy has. I don't know if they're leaving. Um, Ole Miss, they could use some depth. They got Lacey, but add another running back, that could be a really nasty backfield for them. LSU, obviously, they'll take as much talent as they could possibly get. Yeah, there's a lot of different teams he could end up on, so I'm curious to see where that goes. But yeah, there's a lot of portal movement right now. We'll see what happens with the Desir twins. We got 3 days left before it closes. So I mean, Indiana's doing good. My team, Oklahoma's doing very good right now. We're looking at Oklahoma State is in fact doing very well with Eric Morris coming out of North Texas. He's bringing a lot of his guys in. So they brought a ton of North Texas guys, Maker obviously being the big name, but they've been able to pull offensive linemen like Jacob Sexton, and they've been able to get some receivers too. I saw like a pretty good receiver went and signed to them the other day. So we're looking at, potentially a very good Oklahoma State team going into next year as well. So yeah, portal is really, really kind of turning turning crazy, these last few days as there's everybody's making those last few moves. Who's going to end up without a chair? A lot of these guys enter their name in the portal, and some of these guys don't find a place to go afterwards. So sometimes that move comes back to bite them. Unfortunately, it's going to happen to a lot of guys. Obviously, none of these top guys are going to have to suffer any consequences like that. Big signing today, obviously, Rayola going to Oregon. Um, see if Dante Moore comes back or not. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys enter the portal and they don't find a place to go after that. So we're gonna see who it comes back to bite and who benefits from it. See who comes out with the highest the highest level of a roster coming off of that. Let me see if I can share the screen. Looks like Jaden's having some issues, fatherly issues, and I'm just like staring at this picture of Justin Haynes trying to figure out what to talk about. So let's see if I could pull up the ESPN do 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 do. Let's see. ESPN. Let's see if I could do it. Let's see what we got here. Um Getting the screen pulled up. It's taking a minute to load. Looks like Iowa State's playing some basketball tonight. NCAA football. Here we go. Transfer portal tracker. Get us back to where we were so we can resume. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully it's sharing. Looks like it indeed is. Um, Alrighty, let's go ahead and scroll down this and see what we got going on here. Ranking the best quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Actually, that's something I'm interested in. I'm a big quarterback guy, always have been. Um, always have been more of a quarterback guy. So they got Sorsby out of Cincinnati as the number one quarterback coming out of this transfer portal class. He had a pretty good year at Cincinnati. Looked really good at times. Now he's coming into Texas Tech to see what he could do with Texas Tech. I mean, he had 63 touchdowns over his 2 seasons at Cincinnati. So I mean, that's a lot of it's a lot of production he got over the past couple of years. You know, all Big 12 honors, coming into Texas Tech, staying in the Big 12, but with a more talented roster. Is that something, that can elevate him to the next level? I think Sorsby has NFL potential, so I'm curious to see how that all goes down. Sam Levitt, that's who they got ranked number two, going to LSU, obviously. Um, like I was saying, LSU kind of flirted with Washington's guy, Williams. Williams, had to go back to LSU, or had to go back to Washington. So Levitt, ultimately went to LSU after taking visits with Miami. We got Drew Mestamaker, obviously, spoke on him going to Oklahoma State. Big pickup with Eric Morris going as well. Byron Brown, going to Auburn. Discuss this. They hedged all their bets on this man. Deuce Knight's gone. Ashton Daniels is gone. So it's all on Byron Brown. Alex Golish's first year over at Auburn. See what he does. Hoover the Hoosier, talked about him. Rocco Becht, talked about Rayola. DJ Lagway going to Baylor. That was one where first few days of the portal, we're hearing rumors and whispers. Like, is Lagway going to Florida State? You saw the picture of him meeting with Mike Norvell. Looked to be like he was going to Florida State. So that was a big kind of development. Him going to Baylor should be able to kind of play really well statistically, at least. Less defense to worry about in the Big 12 than the SEC. Granted, you have teams like Texas Tech, who are starting to have really good defenses. I think we're going to see defenses improve in the Big 12, but for the time being, I think this is a good place for Lagway to kind of pad his stats, kind of get ready for the NFL. Because I mean, I think he's still going to be a top prospect, regardless. You got the Notre Dame backup going to Kentucky. CJ Carr, obviously, young quarterback, going to be the quarterback for Notre Dame for at least another year, if not longer. So, he kind of saw the writing on the wall here and took a trip to Kentucky. Kentucky's bringing in Will Stein out of Oregon, Oregon's offensive coordinator. So he's brought in a lot of low key kind of pretty good talent onto the Kentucky scene, just to start out with. So I'm expecting positive changes in Lexington over, I think that's where they're from, Lexington, over the next few years. Hopefully they get a good start. I got Jaden Craig transferring from Harvard to TCU. So I actually hadn't heard much about this guy. There was he's already got a day three draft grade going into this season. He's the ninth quarterback in the draft. But he's coming back for another year to play for TCU. I think this is a good move for him. Elevates your draft stock on a bigger school. Hopefully he graduated with a Harvard degree. I mean, just imagine that. Like you're a Harvard graduate and then you're going into TCU, maybe possibly the NFL after that. Sonny Dykes hasn't done as much since that first year. That first year we saw them with Max Duggan make that run to the title. We haven't seen much from TCU since then. I was expecting a really good year from them, especially after how they started against North Carolina, demolishing them. Hoover obviously playing very well. So to see them not have as good of a year, like I'm curious to see if, this guy Jaden Craig can maybe elevate the program a little bit more. Aiden Childs, so yeah, this guy, he was over at Oregon State with his coach Jonathan Smith, and then he followed him over to Michigan State. I think Jonathan Smith, in my opinion, probably got fired a little bit too soon. He was only 2 years into his contract, and Michigan State's not exactly the easiest place to win in the world. Obviously, Mark D'Antonio kind of showed what could happen at Michigan State, taking them to the playoffs and, having them kind of as like a top 15, top 20 team most of the time, year in and year out. But Michigan State just doesn't like they don't really have the resources to compete with, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. Um, so I don't know. I feel like they pulled the trigger a little bit too quick on Jonathan Smith. I think they could have brought him and Aiden Childs back for another year, but we got Childs going to Northwestern. Obviously, I think that's a downgrade in terms of a program, but Northwestern showed some good signs this past season. Played Michigan real close. Michigan only beat them by a field goal. So you're looking at potential there. Aaron Philo, that was something I was a little confused about. I was, fully expecting him to stay at Georgia Tech, especially, given Haynes King is as far as I know, Haynes King is leaving. I mean, he was a senior. And yeah, it says right here, he was in line to be the starter in 2026. So I don't really understand why he left. I guess looks like maybe a money reason. He's going to Florida. I didn't even really see this one. That's a really underrated pickup for Florida. I thought for sure Retzloff was going to end up as Florida's quarterback. I don't know if there's going to be a battle here or not, but Philo is a fantastic quarterback. This hurts Georgia Tech a lot. I was shocked to see it. He might be the starter. Um, yeah, I mean it's looking like he's going to be the starter there. Deuce Knight, we had discussed this. He's going to Ole Miss after, Sham Bliss got denied another year of eligibility, unfortunately. So Deuce Knight's coming in to kind of take over. We'll see how Ole Miss looks next year after everything clears out. Austin Simmons, this was the guy that, came into the Ole Miss season as the starter. Transferring to Missouri with Prabula leaving, so he's going to kind of fill those shoes. They got Ahmad Hardy coming back. I'm expecting, a pretty decent offense from them, especially from the run game. If he can get that run game open up with Ahmad Hardy, we should be able to see like a pretty good Missouri offense next year. If he could kind of get the pass game opened up and get some receivers to throw to. Uh, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell with this guy. Kiffin kept kind of throwing him in the game in like odd situations. Like they had the ball at the goal line a few times, and he would switch Sham Bliss out for Simmons, and then throw a weird pass with Simmons, or try to run some two QB weird play, and it just wouldn't work out. So it's good. It'll be good to see him kind of just fully have his chance to start. Colton Joseph coming from Old Dominion to Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin they need some help. I don't know if this is going to be enough. Luke Fickle is on about as hot of a hot seat as you could possibly be on. So we'll see. Old Dominion, they played in Indiana like about as close as anybody did. So I think Colton Joseph has some talent to him. Uh, you know, 1,000 rushing yards, 2,000 passing yards, responsible for 34, touchdowns, played really good in the Sun Belt. So we'll see if he could kind of bring some good energy over to Wisconsin because they surely need it. Uh, this guy, Colalandria, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Going to Nebraska, was originally at Virginia, if I remember correctly, moved over to UNLV. UNLV had a really solid season under Dan Mullen. UNLV brought in Jackson Arnold for next year, so we'll see if Dan Mullen could keep up the progress, and maybe he'll turn Jackson Arnold around a little bit, like he did with this young man right here who's headed to Nebraska with Rayola leaving, plus he's hurt, so we'll see. Longstreet going from USC hasn't found a home yet. USC, they're always stacking up talented quarterbacks, almost too many. It's like a game of musical chairs at USC. Someone ends up with a starting job. For the time being, it's Maava. So, kind of saw the writing on the wall, probably wants to start or kind of get in line to start somewhere sooner. So he's taking a trip out of Los Angeles and trying to find a new home. We got Prabula. I was expecting him to be ranked a lot higher in terms of quarterback prospects. I thought he was really good when he was healthy this year. I thought he was really good at Penn State. When we saw him on the field, he's headed to Virginia. Virginia, they're losing Chad Morris. I think he's suing for like a seventh year of eligibility. So we'll see if he wins that battle. But it's looking like it's going to be Prabula as the starter over in Virginia next year. I think it's going to be a hell of a year. Virginia looked great. They took a lot of steps forward. I think they were ranked, between 10 and 20 most of the year. Unfortunately, they dropped that game to Duke. That would have got them in the playoffs. But I think Virginia's headed in a good direction. I think Prbula is actually even maybe a little bit better than Morris. So we're gonna or Chandler Morris, Chad Morris, Chandler Morris, Chad Morris. Obviously, that's the guy that's taking the Oklahoma State job. Uh, Catton Hauser going from East Carolina to Illinois. I guess Altmaier, maybe he's out, or maybe he's going to back up Altmaier. I thought Altmaier had another year, but I might be wrong. Yeah, it looks like Altmaier's kind of on his way out. So yeah, it looks like he's gonna maybe be competing for that job. We got Barnett out of James Madison. Had a fantastic year. I thought he was a really good quarterback. Thought he might actually end up in UCLA with his coach. He's over. He's going to UCF. Scott Frost back in UCF. Building something good in the Big 12. I think he'll be a good fit for the Big 12. He looked really good at James Madison. Honestly, didn't look too terrible against Oregon. Grunkmeyer, good good player. I see him when I'm playing NCAA a lot. He always transfers. Um, Leaving Penn State, who knows where he's going to end up. We got Kentucky going to Arizona State. We were talking about this earlier. Um, with Levitt leaving, he's got to come in. He's going to lead the Arizona State Sun Devils. With Levitt out the door, they got a good receiver coming in. We'll see what they do. Holstein from Pitt hasn't decided yet. Jackson Arnold, like I said, going to UNLV. We'll see how that turns out. Billy Edwards Jr., heard a little bit of him. He's going to North Carolina. We'll see what North Carolina does at quarterback. They're looking for an upgrade from Gio Lopez, Belichick's second year. So we'll see how that all goes down. That's the quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Let's see, best overall players in the portal. We'll click on that. Kind of go past where we were with Justice Haynes. Da, da, da. He was sitting at 24. I stared at it long enough, just trying to think about what I even wanted to. No, he wasn't at 24. Yeah, 23 maybe. Did we even make it that far? He's at 20. Okay. Uh, got Trey Richardson going from Vanderbilt to Louisville. That's big. Horton going from Bama to A&M. A&M, they're losing Concepcion. So they got Mario Craver coming back next year. They need some help to go with that. Reed Harris going to Arizona State, another big receiver headed to Arizona State. I think that's huge for Arizona State. Um, Edge rusher going from Auburn to Georgia. Got some defensive tackle help going to Texas. Texas has had an excellent line of scrimmage on the defensive side for the past few years. It looks like that's not going to change. DeAndre Moore, I was kind of like expecting him to have a home by now. He was pretty productive for the Texas Longhorns on offense. We haven't seen where he's going next. Caleb Hawkins, going from North Texas to Oklahoma State, another guy, kind of following Chad Morris and, taking his lead as Oklahoma State transitions into a post Gundy era. Got Raleek Brown. He was a really good running back for Arizona State. A little bit surprised to see him leave. He's going to Texas. So that depth I was talking about them losing, it looks like they have it with him and Hollywood Smothers. Um, Dylan Raiola going to Oregon. We've discussed that. Lagway going to Baylor. James Smith going from Alabama to Ohio State. I think that's a big pickup for Ohio State. Getting more, line of scrimmage help. I think that's one of the most important aspects. This is huge. You get one of the top offensive tackles going from Tennessee to Kentucky. Like I said, Will Stein's making a lot of good moves this first transfer portal cycle, on top of having to coach a playoff game for Oregon. So, shout out to him. Uh, got Ty Benfield, safety, going from Boise State to LSU. LSU, they're picking up pieces, not as many as I thought they would. I thought they would really, really get a lot of top players, but I mean they've got talent and they've got talent coming back. Clemson, Ricardo Jones going from Clemson to Vanderbilt, big pickup for Vanderbilt. Uh, another so like Clemson's really losing some defensive pieces because we got Cleo Barnes going from them to Georgia. So Clemson's losing some defensive pieces to the SEC, and they let Garrett Riley go. I can't remember who they hired as his replacement. So Dabo's kind of is this Dabo's last year? We're about to find out. John Tez Williams going from Iowa State to USC. Good pickup. I mean, USC, their defense vastly improved over this past season. They lost their defensive coordinator. He went to Penn State, I believe, to coach under Matt Campbell. He is a Penn State alum, so curious to see if USC's defense takes a step backwards or if they're able to maintain under new defensive leadership. Adam Trick going from Miami of Ohio to Texas Tech. Uh, USC losing a defensive lineman to go to Alabama. Kind of like a we've seen a lot of defensive guys leave Alabama on this list. Alabama to Ohio State. Got Singleton going from Auburn to Florida. Good receiver, big pickup for Florida. Curious, just curious what Florida's about to do with Philo coming in. Then you got old Singleton and Philo, and they got Baugh coming back at running back. So yeah, I mean they're set up for a good first year under a new coach. Brahmer going from Iowa State to Penn State, Iowa State to Penn State. Utah guy out in the transfer portal. Will he end up in Michigan with his former coach? That remains to be seen. Wisconsin guys still out there. Troy Anderson going from NC State to USC. Big pickup for USC at the wide receiver position. Let's see. Wendell Gregory going from Oklahoma State to Kansas State. Um, we've seen a lot of Oklahoma State bringing in guys. Haven't seen a lot of them lose guys on this list. Edge rusher going from K State to Indiana, and Georgia Tech guy going to Georgia. That's kind of you crossing lines there. But yeah, that's the top 50 in the transfer portal. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of the top guys. We've looked at the top quarterbacks. So curious to see how all that plays out next year. Which one of those guys end up really paying off. Yeah, there's guys out there still remaining though with a few weeks left. So yeah, that's see if there's anything else really going on in terms of maybe some of the bowl games we didn't catch. I know we've mainly just been talking about the playoffs, and I think there are some other bowl games we might not have talked about. I mean, we saw yeah, we probably didn't talk about like Texas Michigan at the Cheez It Citrus Bowl. Um, Arch Manning really lit it up in that second half. He really went off and put on a great performance. Uh, Iowa, you had a Pavia, kind of talking some smack before the game. Losing, he's suing for like a seventh year of eligibility. We'll see if he gets that. I highly doubt it. Utah beating Nebraska. Nebraska is just not good against ranked opponents. They've lost a crazy amount of like losses to ranked opponents. It's like something crazy over the past however many years. So that's pretty insane. Um, Odds. Let's see what we got for the odds. Um, Maybe we got odds for next year. That'd be something kind of interesting to look at. Um, so I mean, we got Indiana's opening up at an 8.5 point favorite over Miami. So they're favorited. Like I said, they've been favorited. A lot of people are kind of just assuming Indiana's gonna walk right in there and clean house. I don't know if that's the case, but I mean they deserve to be the favorite, but I think it's not going to be an easy task for them. Definitely not at all. So we're going to see how that plays out. But yeah, I mean
Jesus
they're the
Christ.
favorites. Yeah, I went through like the whole transfer portal, talked about some top quarterbacks. I didn't know Philo was going to Florida. I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
Um,
that one was pretty big. Oh fuck, I left the monitor upstairs. Hold on, be right back.
all right. Yeah, so that was a pretty big one. So yeah, we're looking at the spread. 8.5 in favor of Indiana. Over. We're looking at 47.5. That's going to be the over under. Um, Money line minus 340. So what a way to set things up. That is not what I wanted to do. What do I want to do? We got that. That's what I wanted. I want to stop sharing. Man, how do I do this? Text that out. Oh yeah, we're back on his screen share. Um, that's what the issue was. I was like, I swear I just turned it off. Yeah, but yeah, we're looking at a compelling end with Indiana and Miami. We'll see how it plays out. One last game, one last game of the season before we go into next year. I'm really just rambling at this point. I've ran out of things to talk about. Hoping he gets back in here and carries for me, or we just kind of move on to a different episode under a different topic. But I've ran out of things to say. I'm rambling for my life right now. Never rambled this much. Um, yeah, NFL looked good. My Patriots looked really good last night. Looked really good against the Chargers, defensively at least. Offense, Drake May kind of made some turnovers, hold on to the ball a little bit too much. Hopefully he cleans that up because we're gonna be facing a really good Texans defense. Um, but yeah, divisional round set up, so we're just kind of waiting to see, who does good. I mean, we got the Bills playing the Broncos, Patriots obviously playing the Texans, 49ers. Can't remember who they're playing. You had the Bears beating the Packers. Can't even remember who had the number one seed on that side. Don't watch as much NFC because I'm not a NFC fan. I'm a Patriots fan, so that's part of it. Looks like my OKC Thunder had a good win tonight against San Antonio. We hadn't beat them in a while, so very happy to see that. Um, Shea put up a really good performance. Jalen Williams, he's been struggling. Looked like he did really well. Well, we've been struggling bad against that team. Um, did what's his face? We had Wemby played, so I mean, good win. 34-7. Went on just a weird losing streak for, a number of weeks, and now we're back here. So, um, I don't even know. I'm completely rambling at this point. Let's see. I mean, as Aaron Rodgers played his last game in the NFL, that's something we're looking at right now. Mike Tomlin, after 19 years, we were discussing this earlier, resigned from the Steelers. I don't know if he was forced to resign or if he made that choice on his own, but he's out as a Steelers head coach. Ravens searching for somebody, Falcons searching for somebody, Giants searching for somebody. A lot of NFL teams are searching for coaches right now. Browns searching for somebody, and we haven't really seen a lot of hires yet. Kind of waiting on the first domino to fall. Usually, when that happens, we'll start seeing other teams make their moves. So, yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. I think I am going to head and end this episode, and we'll film something else because I have ran out of things to ramble about. Unless he gets back in here and like I'm gonna give him like 30 seconds before I end it, and we will start another one or we won't. Got a lot of content coming. We filmed an episode where we're talking about AI that's gonna pop up. Got a few more different ideas for some other episodes. Obviously we have a season ending, so ugh.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on with him. Uh, I
You're all
like
good.
I just heard the monitor. I looked down. He's like standing up, like screaming, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like ran into his room, turned the light on, just big pile of throw up in his bed. I was like, so I had to get him in the bath and change it all this stuff.
It happens. That's gross though.
Impeccable timing though.
It happens. We went through the transfer portal, kind of saw the top guys, looked at all the top quarterbacks.
You still recording or no?
Yeah, yeah, I'm still
Okay.
recording. I've been kind of just rambling for the
Yeah.
past I was like I'm about to stop this. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Had to
Um,
carry it.
but yeah, Philo going to Florida, I hadn't seen that one. That was one that like slipped through the cracks of me seeing. So with him
I
going and Singleton going and
I did
Boss
see that.
staying, like they got a
So
pretty good team set up for next year.
I wonder where Lagway's going. Have you heard
Going to
anything about
Baylor.
him?
He's going to Baylor.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
good. I mean, like good little landing spot for him.
Yeah, a good spot to just sit and develop and like, mature a little bit as a player.
Yeah, so that was a big one. Harvard, their quarterback apparently was really, really good.
Let me
He
put this back on, I guess. I'm still scrolling through.
he's going to TCU. So that was like one that we came across that was looking
Mhm.
pretty interesting.
There's DJ. Oh, there he is.
Going to Baylor.
Houseman. Ba-ba-ba-ba-boom. Another Texas Tech defensive lineman.
Texas Tech. I was seeing like a lot of guys from Alabama leaving Bama on the defensive end. It was kind of like, huh.
Yeah, there's another one. He's going to Ohio State. Yeah, I don't. Alabama might be in trouble. They
Alabama's
might.
one of those schools that doesn't quite have as much money as people think they do. Um,
Yeah.
so I was like reading like there's like tiers like Texas Tech, Oregon, I want to say A&M, Texas, and like one other team,
LSU, Michigan.
LSU, like have like the most money. And then there's like this tier of teams that people think have a lot of money and they do have a lot of money, like more than most teams, but not as much. And it's like Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and like a few others. Like they have a lot of money, but not as much as some people
More
think
than
they
most
do.
schools.
Yeah. And I think Florida State was like on that list too. Like y'all have quite a bit of money.
Shit, we might be in third. We just don't want to spend it. Our athletic director is a fucking rat. Well, yeah, it's like the top 50.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we're kind of at the end of our college football episode for this week. Not a lot to
Hell,
talk about. I mean, there's just the championship game, transfer
that'll be
portal stuff, which is almost over.
that'll be it.
Um,
Yeah, by the time we make our one more episode after the national championship. Let's see, that's on what, the 18th,
19th, yeah,
19th.
Monday.
So we could film while that's going.
We could do a live stream. I think that actually would be pretty cool.
Uh, game's probably like seven
7,
something.
7:30, something like that.
Yeah, we go live while it's going, and then
Yeah, and if you like you can't get
afterwards
on
we
right away,
can.
I could just like start it because I'll just be watching it anyway. So
Yeah, we can always like recap like the last because we'll have 3 days of like last bit of the transfer portal.
transfer
If
portal.
there's anything crazy happens, I think most of the big players are already
There's not a whole
committed.
lot we're really waiting on. The Zier twins, I think, is like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
We're waiting on. I don't think there's anything too big pressing in the portal now, especially with like the
There's a couple
quarterbacks
guys in this top
domino and
50 that weren't committed somewhere yet. Like I think it was less than five. So
yeah, and it was like a lot of guys that had like the Colorado guy like just entered like a day
yesterday, I think.
or two ago. So we're gonna see how all that plays out over the next week, and then we're gonna have a national champion, and then we'll
So
transition into whatever we transition into during the off season. Probably just a lot of randomness until
yeah.
we catch on to something. But we will catch y'all next week. Roll
Ciao.
Tide.